Let's go! Woo! Early morning, today's the day. We're gonna have to, well, I don't know about starting, but we are gonna go ahead and start right away. The hardest part, I actually feel like this is actually harder than all the other stuff. So we're gonna bolt down the motor, make sure the mounts are in, it's mounted, and the hardest part literally is the exhaust. So this exhaust right here comes up through right there, the little downpipe, and it's so close to the steering column. Such a pain to bolt up, but gonna have to get it done. Let's see if we can finesse it. Let's get started. All right, wow. After battling with it, actually had to put it on the starter as well, but it's finally in. I got the motor mounts on, so it's pretty much free. And also, what I had to fix was, actually, on the right side, I had the motor mount backed up in an inch, and I think I fixed it where it's not at an angle anymore. I think it's good. We'll see. So now we could go ahead, put the cross member, put the training mount, and finish bolting up everything. It's super hot out here. Adrian's welding the trunk. If you guys saw last time, he's doing like a little mini restoration on the Civic, and then it's gonna be ready for the dyno tomorrow. Make some a little good horsepower, maybe like 400 horsepower. We'll see. All right, let's get back to this. It's so hot in this garage, but it's looking good. Finally, engine hoist. We can take it away. Hell yeah. Then the wiring, all this wiring. Thankfully, Kendrick made it really easy for me, so it's pretty much all plug and play. This is the worst part. So I spilled a bunch when I was taking out the motor. Spilled a bunch of antifreeze and power steering and all that nastiness. I never cleaned it up, so now I gotta clean it up. Try to finesse my way in there, trying to bolt everything back. Ugh, that's gonna be nasty. Well, I don't know if you guys can see, but everything is all bolted up underneath finally. Well, minus the exhaust and drive shaft, but we're gonna do that on the lift, and we'll just roll it out. But now I'm just gonna go ahead and start with the wiring, put all the wiring right through to the inside of the cabin. That way it's a little bit easier. Feeding the wires through now, slowly pulling it up and underneath. Yep, it's pulling, it's going through. Nice. This whole thing needs to go right through in there. Definitely time consuming. Let's stuff all this in there. Just like that, wiring's all tucked on this side. We're gonna be putting that, feed everything, all these other extra wires through the bottom. Next, just gonna go ahead, start doing the spark plug, or the valve covers, I mean. Loosely tighten all these up. Just doing a bunch of the little stuff now, just like a bunch of hoses, tightening all of that. Made one of the biggest mistakes. Went to go put on my belt and I was like, why is it extra long? No alternator. We're gonna go ahead, put this alternator on, and then hopefully this 1J belt still does fit, because we did go with 2J parts, different pumps on here. So cross our fingers on that. Here. Right, perfect. And gonna go ahead, tighten this down. So this is where it's hopefully this back section doesn't get hot. I think that's how it was ran before. But we're gonna tighten this down. Watching some Hoonigan. Just get the time passing. Then let's try this belt now. Here we go. So hopefully it should work, but first what I'm gonna do is just put on good old clutch fan. I'm always a high believer in clutch fan over electric fans, especially since we're using 1JZ 6-cylinder and Skyline, which was a 6-cylinder. Temperatures were perfect. We should clean this up a little bit. It was all dusty. Hit a crossroads. Totally forgot. Since it was a 1J clutch fan, 1J does not work on the front section of a 2JZ. So I still tightened it up. Went ahead, just put the belt on. Works, so that's definitely a plus. Saved me like 20 bucks right there. But now, I gotta go on a hunt for a 2JZ clutch fan. So that sucks. If you have one, comment down below, please. Next up, what I'm gonna be doing is just starting to connect a bunch of the wiring. We'll power up the alternator there. Probably get started on the intercooler actually as well. Just because I want to save everything else from underneath to put on the lift. And it'll be a lot easier for me. And then we'll save all the wiring for all at once. That way when we get it ready to start, it literally takes maybe like 10-15 minutes to plug everything back in. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep plugging away at this. Put all those wires for the coil pack spark plugs. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead, connect the power steering line and start working on the intercooler piping. Next up, working on the intercooler here. We're gonna do a side dump right here. Just gonna rotate this. I should probably mock up the intercooler itself first before going ahead and connect all these hoses, or these couplers I mean. Intercooler's all done. That's all set up. Now, next thing we're gonna do is, before I forget, I think my master cylinder actually like shit the bed. So, got a new one, Nissan Pathfinder. Trusty mechanic Kendrick here is gonna teach you guys how to bench blade it.
I'm learning too at the same time, don't worry. I'm not that great. Pump it a few times and it should just circulate the fluid back and forth. And that's gonna put fluid into the cylinder, where if you didn't do this and you hooked up your brake lines right away, they might have air bubbles trapped in here and the fluid will never actually go, and you just sit and have air your whole time when you're trying to bleed your brakes in the car. So doing this, having the hose dipped inside the brake fluid, makes it go back and forth until all the air bubbles work itself out.
So if you have a messed up master cylinder, would it still pump as much, or would it be slower? Is there a way that...
I don't know. I don't know brake pedal symptoms, unfortunately. I don't know that as much as I should. Do that a few times, and since it has 2 ports, I'm gonna switch it to the other port.
Let's see what Adrian's up to. Wow, okay. You saw these dimes I laid over here? Look at that.
Look at right there. Where's the light?
Look at that dime, boy! Oh, no.
Alright, and then this is to actually Tony.
Whoa, 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 disrespecting me over there. Oh, can you see it from underneath? So if you guys saw from the last video, oh yeah, kinda, yeah, you can kinda see it. So he covered up all that, nice. Hell yeah. So convenient how the Civic has the fuel pump all stuff right there in the back seat. Thank you, Kendrick. Now is out here killing it in New Haven on his Harley.
Oh yeah, boy.
Alright, here we go. Step into the office. Here's the fun part. Oh boy. I'm gonna dread this. I might need Kendrick's help. Let's see if I remember and labeled everything correctly with this. Oh man. It's a lot of colors in here. Back there. Alright. I'm just gonna take it slow and take it one by one. Whew. After a good like 20 minutes, sweating like crazy in here, but the wiring is hopefully complete. I think I connected everything, even though there's a couple of plugs there that look like they're missing, but I think I did get everything. So just got to button up a few stuff up in front, throw some fluid, spark plugs, coil packs, stuff like that, and I think we're ready to crank it. There you go. New brake master cylinder. That's good right there. Next up we're going to be doing is I already put all the spark plugs in, gapped them, and now go ahead, put the coil packs on. It's a new day, but we are starting the car today. We're going to crank it over. Still got a couple stuff to do. I actually had to wait to get the clutch fan. Got the clutch fan. Have the fan part, the blades over there. We're going to install that. Let me double check actually, because I was kind of skeptical that it wasn't going to fit. So I'm going to back that off. I connected the fuel lines already. Only thing I have to do is put a clamp on one of my hoses here for the coolant line underneath. So I got to jack up the car. Other than that, what I'm gonna do is add some oil, crank it a couple times, make sure the oil pump is going, prime the oil pump. And oh, actually, I think before I do all that, before I actually try and start the car, I think I'm gonna put the radiator and all that, the fan shroud. Might as well. It's definitely a hot day. We have both fans going on. We're supposed to do like some record-breaking like heat temperature. It's like 105 degrees or something. It's a hot day for sure. But let's get started on that. I'm already sweating. Many minutes later, everything's finally all connected. Only thing left, if this starts and everything, is just the drive shaft. That's the only thing left. But right now, what we're gonna do is just fill it up with some oil. Gonna put some antifreeze in and just prime the oil pump and just let oil circulate through for a little bit. Man, I'm kind of nervous. I think I'm gonna wait for the guys to come just to double check everything. I don't know. Fingers crossed, boys. All right, guys, we already started priming it. Now, just doing it is kind of hard just because I don't have a oil pressure gauge on it, so I can't see if it's actually getting oil pressure or not. We just literally just been cranking it. I think maybe like 5 times. Yo, suck my dick. Yeah, it's pretty hard. All right, let's see. Here we go. Ooh. Let's go! All right, you don't want to let it idle too long. Yeah, my heart's still racing. My heart's still racing. Well, idles. Oh, I shut it off. But it turns on.
Is that the quiet second because you know why?
I don't know. Why would you hear? Like a vacuum?
Like almost something trying to like start it 1 second and then.
Nah, we're gonna put this on video. I'll expose myself on it. So this is what happened. Look it. Woo! But there was no way to actually check for oil pressure, but this was one way. So made a rookie mistake. Will came under here and notice I didn't even have the little tube for the turbo itself to connect to the oil pan, and I forgot that. But that's a good way to check for oil pressure. So we got oil pressure at least. That's an easy fix. Ooh, yo, my heart's still racing, dude. All right, so she does run. Should we start it again? Are we starting it again?
Are we? Yo, it's so hot in here, yo.
One more time. JDM goodness. Woo! Double check. No noise so far. Make sure it's running. But that's pretty much it. Next time we're gonna go for a test drive and break it in, because we do need to break in the oil. So stay tuned for that, guys. It's hot.